It's Friday, and that means it's time for At the Box Office. We're now joined by film critic Julia Swift to hear her thoughts on Art Spiegelman's Disaster is My Muse. Hi, Julia. Thanks for joining us. I hear we have a special one today.
We do. So I saw this very special documentary, which everyone will get to see Tuesday. Art Spiegelman, I don't know if everyone knows, Art Spiegelman wrote Mouse, which was one of the first graphic novels to just really take off. And it's not for a young audience. It is about his childhood growing up with a parents who survived the Holocaust. And the way that he interpreted that was to put it into this graphic novel where the Nazis were cats and the Jews were mice. And it is, I remember when it came out hearing about it, but honestly, I didn't really understand what it was because we didn't really know what graphic novels were then. And so I have to admit, until I saw the documentary, I had never looked at his work. And the documentary made me so excited for his work. So I actually got the chance to interview one of the two co-directors, Molly Bernstein, and we're going to get to show you a couple clips of that. And in this first clip, I asked Molly, she co-directed it with her husband, and one thing that's so fascinating in the film is that Art Spiegelman did a lot of work with his wife, who is in the film, who is now an editor at The New Yorker. So let's hear the clip.
I feel he's gotten through the incredible traumas of growing up as a child of survivors. And if you talk to Art for 5 minutes, no matter what you're talking about, there will be jokes. He's just very funny, and I really admire that as a coping mechanism, as a very charming personality trait, and they both have that. So that was really wonderful too.
Um,
Is it over? Sorry, I couldn't hear when it ended. Okay. So in that clip, you got to hear about, how do you handle these tough times in life and what are ways that we can bring humor in? And the whole documentary, you get to see the husband-wife relationship and how they make it through with that humor because, as the title says, he keeps having these intense traumas from his childhood. And interestingly, it's going to air on American Masters. And I'd asked Molly about that as well, about how she got the funding. So we'll hear that in the clip.
American Masters, which is the series that it's part of on PBS, they were interested in the project from the very beginning, and I knew them. Ricky Jay had been in American Masters. I'd edited American Masters, so I knew them well, and we pitched it to them several times, and they loved it. They always loved it, but they never had funding for it until Art's book was banned.
So super interesting, right? That in this day and age of book banning and less money for the arts, what he's really has, and it shows in the documentary that art has been fighting for the freedom of the arts, which is a whole other part of the documentary. And I will say, this is not, I don't know if you saw years ago, there was a documentary about Robert Crumb, who's actually in this documentary, which is awesome. And that was a very artistic, imagistic take. And this is much more of a by the book documentary. It's much more traditional. And in that, we get so much information that you really will see, like, how did he change society? And we really get to read these comics and see how comics can affect society and politics. And so it's super interesting. You'll be able to see it on PBS, streaming all month, and really a special documentary.
all right. Well, thank you so much, Julia, for sharing this special documentary. And you can watch Art Spiegelman's Disaster is My Muse on PBS next Tuesday. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break.